Thanks so much, Joe, for that great overview of what BITSS is up to and our work and really teeing up the day. I'm Ted Miguel. I'm the Faculty Director of BITSS and a Professor of Economics here at UC Berkeley. We have a really exciting program in store today. We're going to be hearing about frontier topics in research reliability, transparency, and credibility. There's a whole range of new tools and solutions people are going to be presenting on, and an excellent keynote to follow me by Professor Brian Nosek of the Center for Open Science, whom I'll introduce in a minute. Before getting into it, I feel like we all need to step back and acknowledge where science is right now. And I just want to say I'm speaking here as a private citizen. I'm not presenting any official UC Berkeley, SIGA, or BITSS positions. We find ourselves in a deeply troubling moment for scientific research in the United States today. Over the last month, we've unexpectedly seen mass firings of government scientists without cause and seemingly violating the law, and hence some of these firings are being held up in the courts. Mass cancellation of research projects that the Trump administration is opposed to on ideological grounds. For instance, everything in international development, my own field, and anything that mentions issues of racial disparities, LGBTQ populations, or climate change. Plans to dramatically reduce indirect cost rates on federal grants, which would cripple key activities at universities and medical schools around the country. And plans to single out university endowments for taxation, unlike other nonprofit organizations, which again would dramatically affect university programs, research, and teaching. Where is this coming from? Seminal work on open science norms by Robert Merton highlighted the key interlinkages between scientific progress and political democracy. In fact, his famous 1942 articles entitled A Note on Science and Democracy. They reinforce each other. But scientific evidence is also a threat to authoritarian regimes, or would-be authoritarian regimes, which is why they attempt to limit its influence. Scientific research doesn't conform with propaganda narratives. It doesn't necessarily bow down to authoritarians. At the same time that science is being attacked in the US, the Trump administration is also undermining our core democratic institutions, the rule of law, congressional authority, freedom of the press, and the military's multi-century-long nonpartisan tradition. This deliberate dual assault on science and democracy is not aligned with this country's founding vision. John Adams, John Hancock, Alexander Hamilton, and others founded the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 1780, while the American Revolution was still being fought in order to promote scientific research. They saw it as essential to the health of our democracy. Similarly, for the National Academy of Sciences, which Abraham Lincoln helped to found in 1863 at the height of our Civil War. And their vision has paid off handsomely. The US has been the world's unrivaled scientific and technological leader for the last 80 years. At the same time, we've become the most prosperous nation in the history of human civilization. Science, democracy, and prosperity really do go hand in hand, as our founders had hoped and dreamed. And threatening science and democracy cannot but help risk our material well-being, perhaps very quickly. For all these reasons, scientists are beginning to stand up to these fast-moving but profound changes. It was only 5 weeks ago that the administration came to power, although it feels much longer, at least to me. Next Friday, March 7th, there's a national day of action called Stand Up for Science, where researchers, scientists, academics, and their supporters will make our voices heard, as best I can, at least. We plan to organize an activity here at Berkeley, starting at 11 a.m. next Friday on Sproul Plaza, to make it clear where we stand on these changes, how much they will hurt science, damage our society and economy, and the world. In my own research field of international development and health economics, multiple critical projects have been stopped midstream by the research freeze that the administration has ordered. including promising drug trials for an HIV vaccine, which took decades of work. And all of that is in addition to the foreign aid flows that have been abruptly halted, leading to less food aid being delivered to millions of refugees, less treatment with antiretroviral therapy for millions, and less monitoring of global infectious disease outbreaks. A large evidence base attests to the importance of these activities for human well-being globally, and also here at home, given that infectious diseases do not respect country borders. Science is about telling the truth honestly, even in the face of opposition, propaganda, intimidation, and misinformation. So it requires courage. It's our role as researchers to stand up now and tell the truth, maybe before it's too late for our scientific community here in the US, with consequences for the whole world given the focal role of US science in global science. Destroying American science is not patriotic. There are no kings or dictators in science, and there can never be a king or dictator or czar of the United States of America. We founded the Berkeley Initiative for Transparency in the Social Sciences in 2012 to promote and defend the core scientific values of honesty, transparency, and integrity. And I hope today's meeting and all of us will continue to advance these ideals.